Are you ready for the content? Let's talk about the content portion of the webinar. The content portion is very interesting because a lot of people think mistakenly, and this is a huge reason a lot of people have trouble with webinars or don't even attempt to do them, is they overteach. They teach too much. They give a fire hose and they say sip out of it. And what do you think happens? You actually create more harm than good in that situation, unfortunately. What is the purpose of the content? Well, we know what the purpose of the introduction is, don't we? The purpose of the introduction is to get people to absolutely get excited to hear what you're about to reveal, to feel like you may just have the solution to what ails them, that there's now hope where none existed, and now they're eager and they're approaching it without these prejudices or biases, with an open mind to be most receptive to what you're about to show them. Now, the content is what we're going to show them to make them excited and eager to move forward with, for them to see themselves actually making a change, to feel what was impossible is now possible. And we do this with a formula, just like everything else. Listen, after doing this for 10 years, I have had to develop shortcuts to get this done as quickly as possible, because I'm now writing 10 times the amount of webinars a year that I used to write, because of the demand for my services to craft and script and do webinars for clients. So I've had to get very quickly. I've had to teach my staff, and I had to teach many other people this process because I couldn't just do it all myself, right? So what we do with content is we define the outcome. This is the very thing that they'll be able to do once this webinar is over with that they couldn't do before, because I'll tell you what, blind targets don't get hit. So before you ever do any education, quote unquote, in your webinar presentation, define the outcome. This is what they'll be able to do after watching my webinar that they couldn't do before. And now you have a target that can get hit. Then you say, how do I break this down in a step-by-step fashion? If they're going to achieve this outcome, what do they need to do first, second, third, fourth? Now, before you actually break down in the how to do those steps, you got to provide context. Why what you're sharing with them is important. Because if somebody says to you, hey, I want to lose weight, and you say, okay, give me your arm and I'm going to chop it off. They say, well, I don't want to do that. Oh, well, what's the context? They want to lose weight in a way that keeps their arms. A lot of people just give information without providing the proper context first. Vision. This is getting them to see in their mind having already achieved it before showing them how to achieve this. This makes them much more likely to want to achieve it. The strategy then, this is the how-to. Very simply, this is the easiest part of all. It's usually not do more, it's usually do less. Just do this, make this happen. But because you spent the time getting people eager and excited to want to know what this is or the how of it, that's when you make an impact, even if your information is not necessarily as good or cutting edge or as insightful or as expert as somebody who's done it a million times. Because in their mind, they just tell you what to do, but they don't get you excited, they don't get you eager, they don't get you to see the outcome, they don't provide the context, they don't have an outcome in mind for you that's going to be helpful to you. And then you get commitment to get them to promise to take action on what you just showed them. And you do this for your content. And this is going to land you about 45 to 60 minutes. Now, a lot of people get objection on me on this. They say, Jason, who would watch a webinar for 45 to 60 minutes? And I'll tell you, most people will not. But it doesn't matter, because we're not serving most people. We are serving the people who are the most desperate for a solution and the most motivated to find out what that solution is. And those people will spend hours if you are helping them, providing value and service to them. And the more you help them, the more likely they are to see the true value of whatever you're offering at the end of your webinar. Does that make sense? Okay. Now here is a real practical way to put this in motion so it shows up in your life immediately. So come up with your defined outcome, a single sentence that somebody can do in your webinar after they watch it. Break it down into steps. I usually recommend these days 3 to 5 steps. You can go up to 7, whatever. I usually go 3 to 5 steps. I like to create a roadmap like you're seeing here today, like first do this, then do this, then do this. Provide the context, the vision, and the strategy, and the commitment. Consider showing, not just telling. You can just talk at people, or you can show them, and showing is much more important. And then you can continue to chunk down and connect the dots, which I'm not going to get into necessarily today. These are things that can be even more helpful, but just the fact that you're doing this is going to put you immediately leagues ahead of anybody else who's trying to do a webinar and trying to make money with.